welcome to the Crypto Content Creators Show. I am Jennifer Navarrete, and I am joined by my co-host, Shaine Mata. Shaine, welcome everybody.
Hey, welcome everybody to the show. We are glad to be uh, bringing you this content. We've been kind of excited all week because Jennifer came up with the idea on the 4th of July, and it's like, well, it's Independence Day for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we hope that we can bring some independence to a lot of you content creators out there through cryptocurrency or crypto podcasting or other content creation. So we're here to explore that world and how to generate income through cryptocurrency or crypto content creation. That's a big word or a big mouthful there.
It is. And I know for a lot of folks, they're like, what? Like they've heard about content creation, right? That's an
Yeah.
easy lift, right? They're like, I know what content creation is, and I've heard of crypto, but do crypto and content creation go together? And Shaine and I are
Right.
here to tell you they do.
Yeah. So before we get into that, let's kind of introduce ourselves. I think both of us have been longtime podcasters, and I think you've been more immersed in the world than I have. I think we started around about the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think you went into it as a pro, and I've kind of done it on as a hobby on the side. So, uh, can you tell me a little bit about how you get started in content creation?
Yeah, well, so in 2005, and this is a story that I tell because it's true. In 2005, I heard about this thing called podcasting. And then when I realized what it was, I was like, you mean I can record something, put it up on the web, and no one can stop me? I was like, sign me up. I'm ready to roll. And a love affair was born. I am so much in love with podcasting now more than ever, and the energy and excitement of that love hasn't stopped. And it really delved from podcasting. Well, in order to podcast, you needed an RSS feed. And in order to get an RSS feed, you needed a blog. So in essence, you
Mm-hmm.
then become a blogger because you need show notes for your show. And then, of course, then video and then community groups and all this kind of stuff. So there's like this long path that went from something I heard about to what I do for a living professionally and speak on stage and coach and train clients and do all these things. So by the way, if you're creating content, you're not sure it's something that you can actually make a living at, I'm here to tell you, you can in the real world. And so now we're going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that you can do adding crypto into the mix, which we'll talk about over the course of the show. So Shaine, you've heard about me. Y'all have heard about me. Now let's hear about Shaine.
Right. Actually, I started off with podcasting, kind of the same idea, and I think it was at the time kind of what's happening now is a focus on freedom. I used to listen to a lot of talk radio, and I thought, well, that's pretty cool. It'd be cool to be on the radio. And then I thought, well, maybe I can do a show, a recording. And I had heard about podcasts, and I thought I would try my hand at it. But of course, I needed some support, so I was looking around, and I actually stumbled upon one of Jennifer's shows, or one of her episodes that she had done locally, and that's how I was able to Google, and and then we just went together. We went down this rabbit hole of creating events around podcasting and going to meetups and things like that. So eventually, we stopped recording stuff. We started doing things live because as far as the content creation goes, it works easier if you go live, and you just have to be satisfied with what you did. And so that in itself is something that we've learned and kind of grown together to try to do. And it's not natural, I'll tell you that much. I keep teasing Jennifer about that.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think the fun thing about this journey that we've both been on in our own
Yeah,
ways is that the interest for kind of the new stuff, because back then it was called new media, right?
that's right.
Now it's just media. But when we
Hmm.
look at the world of crypto and content creation, tying that together, merging those two together, this is a whole new wild west. There's a whole lot of ground that has yet to be discovered and explored. But there are people out there pioneering. There are people out there discovering. There are people out there implementing and doing new things using old
Hmm.
models and actually integrating things together. And that's what we're excited really to kind of dive into and share with you, and just to be part of that learn, share, grow. So as we learn things, we want to share them with you, and as we do, we can all grow together.
Yeah, so I was looking here on the agenda, and I think we wanted to talk, kind of clarify what the Crypto Content Creators Show is, because even like we were discussing earlier, it's not about people who talk about crypto,
Mm,
because there's a ton of shows out there that will tell you, they go through technical analysis and do all these other things about it. But it's not about creating crypto content. It's about people who are using blockchains like Hive or Steam to host or to put up their content and share with the world. And so there's a ways for generating income, and there's other sites out there that also are following along those lines. They're not as far developed, so I think most of the time we're going to be sticking to Hive as the main example,
mhm.
because it is up and running and it has this thriving community of content creators out there. And so, but we do want to leave some room open for other platforms as well, like PublishOx or Minds or even Voice.com, which is currently down, but they're reworking their business model at how that's going to work out. But so just to clarify, that's what we
Mhm.
intend for the show to be, is about the content creators who are using crypto to host their content, not to talk about crypto.
No, no, and we got to actually throw in, we've
Hmm.
got to throw in the podcast index, right? Podcasting 2.0,
Yes.
because there are ways for podcasters to utilize the blockchain to gain crypto from their listeners, and
Hmm.
it's this now that's really pioneering right now, because the plane is being built as it's being flown, kind of like what we're doing here. By the way, we're gonna build this plane as we're flying it, and we're taking you on the journey. We're like, yeah, come on this plane, it's safe, come on, you can do it. But I figure the best way to learn is to do, and so we're doing this and we're taking you with us. So yeah, hopefully you're got your seatbelt strapped and you're ready for the ride.
Absolutely. So that just I think that covers what we can expect, right? Is more or less just kind of, you're going along with us. We're learning, and you're learning along the way with us. So
Well, and
actually,
let me
go
throw in
ahead.
here real quick. So, what the goal of this is not only for us to share what we're learning, but also to interview those crypto content creators, hence the name of the show, who have figured out a way to make it work for them, and they're successful at it. Because the best way for us to learn more is to learn from the folks who are doing it and doing it well. So, that's kind of the part that I'm really most fascinated with, because you think about things like NFTs, and artists are now turning their art into NFTs. And there's a
Mhm.
whole, I mean, that by itself, we could do a whole season on just NFTs if we really wanted to dive into it. We're going to try and salt and pepper a lot of these pieces. It may feel overwhelming. If you have questions, reach out to us. We're here for this. If you have something you want us to dive into, someone you want us to interview, we want to do those things. We have our own agenda, Shaine mentioned, and a list of things we want to talk about, people we want to interview. But you're our audience. You're part of our community. So we want you to, be part of these conversations and to help develop and inform it, to give us some value. And we can give you value. You can give us value back.
Exactly. And also, I want to kind of, as far as what to expect, I might get a little bit kind of carried away with the nerdiness. So I'm hoping you'll help me, rein me back a little bit, and try to keep it so that people who are starting, because I think our target audience is not necessarily the ones who are experts at it already, but the people who are maybe thinking about dipping their toe, or who have never heard about crypto content creation, who have never heard of Hive or any of the other platforms out there. So that's where we're gearing our or that's our intent, or
Hmm.
target audience, I suppose, people who are starting off and want to learn more about it.
Right. Yeah. Because I can tell you just from my own experience, as I've been getting involved in the crypto content creation world, as me dipping my toe into the stream, and I'm
Hmm.
doing that. And I started doing that a little bit in Steemit and Minds few years back, but I didn't understand it. So I didn't stick with it. And then I reached out to Shaine, and Shaine was like, oh, I've been doing that for a few years. I'm like, I must know more. And when he talks about being geeky, nerdy, and kind of going off into the, it's like, whoa, hold on, let me pull you back here. How about we talk about speak some plain English? So you're going to get a little bit of mix of that. But the nice thing about it is that there's so much opportunity, but there's so many folks that don't know about this. And Shaine and I have a
Hmm.
tendency to be early adopters and pioneers in things, where we're like, ooh, this thing kind of looks cool. Let me go investigate that. And then we start
Right.
talking to people about it, and we're speaking Klingon. They have no idea what we're talking about. Eventually, they'll catch up to us, but we figured, you know what? While we're exploring, let's do it together.
Yeah. One of those things that we're exploring right now is the value for value model, and we haven't quite figured out the plumbing how that works. So we're trying to set up a system where like by creating providing value to you through our work here, that you would provide value to us through micropayments, either tips on Hive or upvotes, or there's a way to do it with Bitcoin where you do a Lightning wallet, and then you're able to stream value to us as you're watching the show and things like that.
Mhm.
But that's in the works, so we're not quite ready yet. I think the only thing that will work probably right now is if tipping through Hive or upvotes.
Mhm.
But we'll announce that later on. We did get the domain for that is cryptoccc.show.wallet, but right now there's nothing connected to it where we're going to be able to receive anything out of that.
Mhm.
But you're welcome to send us donations when we're set up finally, maybe in episode 2 or 3.
Mhm. Well, I mean, as Shaine mentioned, we it was on 4th of July, right, which was just
Yeah.
this past Sunday that I just had this idea. And I thought, you know what? Is this domain available? And it was. And then so I bought it and then I took a picture and emailed it, not emailed, I texted it to Shaine and I said, hey, I think I want to do this. Do you want to do it with me? And Shaine, what I have to ask you, because I do stuff like this to you all the time where I'm like, hey, here's this cool thing. What do you think? What did you think when you got that text?
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't like, oh man, it wasn't like it was like, huh, that's a great idea. And the more we kind of talked about it, the more excited I got about it, because it is along the lines of what I've been kind of experimenting with or trying, or it's something that I wanted to share. And I know that we did a workshop a while back,
Hmm.
and I realized that it was a lot to throw at you all at once.
Yeah,
And
it was. My brain
so
was mushy
yeah,
afterwards.
exactly. So I've always kind of been thinking about how could I make it easier? How could I break it up into bite-sized chunks to help other people kind of get into this, because it's an exciting new world. And just like back in the day when I got into podcasting and it was about freedom, about being
Hmm.
able to say what I want and not be whatever. We're seeing the same thing again today, in the sense that like Facebook and Twitter and other platforms are they'll just ban you. They'll remove you from their account if or from your account if they don't like what you have to say.
Hmm.
And so that's actually what got me into Hive, or at the time it was Steam, and it was the search for a way for me to be able to say things. And I'm sensitive about stuff like that, because the what I got a post removed from Facebook, and it was a simple post. The post was uh, go out and vote. I didn't say go vote for this person, go vote for that person. I didn't say what cause or anything like that. It was just go out and vote, and they didn't like that. They took it off. And I was like, yeah. I mean, if they can remove something like that, it's very very plain and controversial. They can remove anything else that they don't want. So that kind of kicked me off to looking for something more robust.
Mm.
And so I stumbled around and finally came into Steam at the time, and so that's where that kind of we got to this point. And so that's why I see uh, the evolution. I think, or I don't know. I think that's the kind of the theme of the show in a way is the freedom,
Right. I
because you're not
agree.
relying on somebody.
I
Yeah.
mean, you think about for the time and effort that a lot of content creators put into third party platforms, it's rented land. You don't own that land.
Right.
And you can build an audience there because people are there, no doubt, right? So you want to go where the people are. But
Mm-hmm.
YouTube can deplatform you. Facebook can, take
Yeah.
away your post. I mean, anyone, Twitter can do it too. There's all these things. And it's not that necessarily we're going to say anything controversial, but the fact is that that could happen. Whereas in the crypto space, it's decentralized. It really allows us to have that ultimate freedom and to have the ability to really create stuff around our land that we own, which is kind of a nice thing to think about it. And of course we have a website. Actually, Shaine, do you mind pulling that up so we can show folks? Now, granted,
Sure.
remember,
Give
we
me a
didn't start this until Sunday. So, I mean, it's the bare bones, but again, we're flying the plane and we're building it and you're on the plane with us, strapped in with your seatbelt. So we'll just show
Okay,
you
let me
kind of
share
the
the screen
basics.
here.
Yeah.
And mm,
Here we go. Trying new things,
All right.
doing new things.
Okay. Entire screen. So we do have cryptocontentcreators.com. And I think Jennifer's also got a domain to shorten it because to make it consistent across the social media. So you can find us on other. Well, here we have a quick about us and announcement of our episodes and a quick explanation of value for value. Yeah, it's not working for me.
Oh,
And we do
interesting.
have, yeah. So maybe it's because I'm logged in. But anyways, just go to cryptocontentcreators.com and you'll be able to see. Okay, there it goes. And I'm guessing that other one was a bit slow too. There we go. Value for value. So we'll be adding posts up there. We're trying to connect it. I was trying to use SteamPress. I didn't realize that they had moved on, and now SteamPress connects WordPress posts over to the Hive blockchain. But the new plugin is called EXXP. I'm not sure what you would call it. EXXP.io is the website, and so we'll be connecting our crypto created content. Oh. cryptocontentcreators.com over to Hive so that way her posts match.
Now I
And
know why
also
the
you
domain was available, because it's just too darn long.
right. And also let's say so on Twitter we're going to be Crypto CC Show,
Mm-hmm.
and on Instagram also Crypto CC Show. And
Mm-hmm.
so naturally, given that we have created our Hive account as Crypto CC Show as well, so you're welcome to join us there and follow us on Hive. Uh,
And we'll put the links in the show notes
uh,
because we also have a YouTube channel. And I'll tell you that if you go to the Twitter account, the Instagram account, and the YouTube account, you're going to notice that it's just myself and Shaine who are following those accounts. But we're building it from the ground up. And the only place we can go is up. So
yeah,
I invite you to join us on the journey because we're going to start sharing articles. You're like, well, why would I follow you all on Twitter and Instagram and stuff? So for Twitter, we're going to start sharing articles that we find about crypto content creators doing amazing things, some how-tos. So we're going to kind of let that be like an information source. Naturally, of course, we're going to promote our show. On Instagram has IGTV, which I think that's a good place for us. And of course, YouTube, duh, this is a video. Where are you going to go to the number 2 search engine in the planet? You're going to go to
right,
YouTube.
exactly. And so I think let's see, we were social media. So the only thing that comes to mind now is
Mhm.
just kind of giving you an idea that this type of content creation has brought a lot of hope to a lot of people around the world. I was sharing with Jennifer the other day that there's people from Venezuela, people from Africa, Nigeria, people from India, and Asia. Uh, People around the world are using the blockchain to be able to put out their content and earn an income. And so it's enough to help them pay for their monthly expenses or to buy a car, or there's even people who save up their Hive based dollars and are able to use that to pay for a flight to a conference and things like that. So it's certainly doable, and people around the world are already doing it. And we just want to showcase a lot of the people who are doing these things already, and show you how simple it can be and what you can expect to get out of it. So I think we're ready to wrap up and prepare for the next show.
Yeah.
Do you want to kind of
Yeah,
explain what we're going to?
so obviously, we're going to want to interview crypto content creators, and I am very lucky because I actually have a co-host who's a crypto content creator and has been doing it well for a good over 2 years. And so I thought, well, our first interview has to be you, Shaine. And so Shaine is like, okay, so get ready to nerd out and to geek out because that's exactly what's going to happen next week. But I'm here to kind of temper it, to give you the plain English version of what Shaine's
Right.
talking about. And so we can kind of get you started. And then we're going to have some more interviews coming up over the course of the season. Now, one thing we haven't talked about is that this is a season. So we're considering this season 1, and we're going to go from July all the way through the end of August every Saturday morning. And you can can join us here live or you can watch the recording. So, yeah, Shaine, show one, done.
Excellent. I do have some homework for you guys, though.
Ah,
Please drop your questions if you want to learn more about it, and that way we have, we can scaffold something to kind of work towards answering your questions about crypto content creation. See, I said it without stuttering that time.
we'll get there, folks. We have all the way through the end of August for that to just roll off Shaine's tongue, right? That's what's going to happen. Anyway, wishing you well. If you haven't dug into this, dig into it. First of all, go to our cryptocontentcreators.com, follow us on social, get ready for some fun. Your learning's going to get on, and we're going to have an amazing time getting some learn, share, grow on together.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. I do appreciate you stopping by. And again, just be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook. We're not on Facebook, right?
No.
On Instagram, sorry.
There's a reason. We'll talk about
Yeah.
that.
Crypto CC Show is our handle on most of the most of the platforms, and then that's just to bring in people who haven't heard about what we have to offer. So we'll talk to you again next week.
All right. Bye.